You look at Swinton, you love. He's full of energy and front foot and presence, isn't he? There you go. A little bit more.
Leave it.
There's the presence.
Just a little bit of rubbing.
Leave it, boys.
That sneaky little jersey grab punch as well.
Yeah.
That's when you get the reach advantage.
Another 10 metres. Give up the ball, please.
It's time to wrestle with another. There you go.
Jake
Good.
Gordon.
Bit of a falcon for you.
He knows he has his bodyguard there.
Go. Put the ball down. Yeah, just here. 10.
Plenty of emotion in this match, isn't there? Indication of how much every match means everything to everyone, but you know these two teams realise the importance of the pivotal moment of this match. 45 minutes odd to play. It'll set up possibly the rest of their season. Sliding door moment.
This will also drag out the end of the yellow card period for Jackson Pugh. Interestingly, saw it with the Super W match yesterday with the Rebels and the Brumbies.
Strong, drawing it back through the uprights, and it's 17-6, couple to go before half-time.
Yeah.
There's Pugh, right on cue when needed for these last few minutes. And Justin, of course, Simon Crom will be thinking, exit, exit, exit. Stay in the fight here. Perhaps another score. 3-5-7 doesn't matter before half-time.
Donaldson. Down towards force. So work their way through Spink, and now they've got the penalty advantage. This will help them get out of their danger zone.
Blue offside again. Never back onside. What number, Matty? Yeah, 8.
So a little bit of ill-discipline against the Waratahs. Changes momentum around occupation of territory. Forces have only had a third of the possession in the first half. They get the final say.
Finds Leilawasa. That's a lovely ball from the scrum half away to the midfield, taken on by Mateele. Strong. And the Tia gets away from Parisi with clever feet, and here comes the fly. Kiberich, but he overhits the chip, and Nawani Tuasa is there in coverage.
Lovely little in and away from Chase Tia. Parisi's attempts to cover him a couple of times have had him at the edge of his capabilities.
Tia goes quick. Stewart. Mateele. Probing for a weakness in the Tars' defence. Can't find it. Met by Lambert. Finds Leilawasa. Stewart. Strong. Looks to run it in behind. It's trapped and taken away by Gordon. Stewart v Gordon. Gordon wins the race to the line.
Oh, talk about turning points in matches. Western Force finally with some possession. And the attempted kick through is what cost them in the end, Jake Gordon. The charge down, yes, the Strong tries to put it through, but watch him pick it up off his toes. That's it, and then it's a foot race. Gordon v Stewart. And it's Gordon in the left corner wins the gift at Allianz Stadium.
He just one of the fool's gold sometimes of kicking 2-on-1 outside him. Sure, a forward with an outside back. This close to half-time. Kicks, yeah, but if he hadn't have kicked it, I would have been a great kick, yeah, but that's risk. You're inviting risk into the game. Western Force, they're giving the Waratahs all of the energy as they head into this break now. That man, Jake Gordon. Wow.
Agreed with a foot, the trap.
He's good. He
could have been playing for Sydney FC here at the Allianz Stadium with skills like that.
The foot, the pickup, the speed, even the eyebrows were working there, trying to get to the corner.
That's good from Jakey Gordon. Flash. Flash right on half-time. 22-6 the score, and Donaldson, after landing his last shot from that right-hand touchline, goes to his preferred side now, looking to draw this one back as well. Starts it touch too straight and holds its line and hits the post. So it's a 16-point difference at half-time here at Allianz Stadium, and it is the Waratahs leading up the Western Force. Okay, it is down to Alana Ferguson, who has Harry Johnson-Holmes.
Thanks, Shawnee. Yeah, mate, what a great way to go into half-time. Your little scrum half goes over for some points.
Yeah, we needed that. Needed a little break. It was starting to get play on it a little bit too much there.
Plenty of emotion in this game. What did you make of the first half?
Look, they came out firing. I think for us it was awesome. We were able to hold the ball, really dictate terms a little bit more, and yeah, take the emotion out of the game a little bit for them and a bit of us.
Great first half of footy. Enjoy the second half.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks.
Over to you, Nick.
Thanks for staying with us on Stan Sport. So much territory and possession for the Waratahs in that first half, and they just got a bit more pay right on half-time there with that Jake Gordon try. Tim Horan, do you feel like they should be even further in front?
Well, not since Jake Gordon scored the try. I think there's a fair reflection of the game, and also the possession and the amount of territory that the Waratahs have had in this first 40 minutes. And I think Darren Coleman, he'll be pretty calm in the sheds. They're playing with a really good structure, the Waratahs at the moment. They look really confident. And the Western Force, they're just defending their life because they've had no ball.
That's exactly right. Yep, territory and possession all with the Waratahs at the moment. Hey, what a weekend we've already seen. Last night in Canberra, the Brumbies, well, they took until the 60th minute against the Fiji Drua really to put some gap on the scoreboard.
They got a big scare, didn't they, the Brumbies? But you see how much experience is in that team, where Stephen Larkin brought so many players off the bench, and they did a great job. He took a lot of players off, senior players off, like Pete Samu. And, of course, Ben O'Donnell, 3 tries. He got a hat-trick. He scored 2 in the first half, 1 late in the game. So good opportunity for him, but it was a very good Fijian Drua team. Away from home, it shows they can still play.
And then today in Wellington, the top 2 teams heading into this weekend, the Hurricanes, they led the Chiefs 17-8 at the break before the Chiefs, Tim. They scored 25 unanswered points in the second half, and they won it 33-17.
Oh, great to see a day game of Super Rugby in New Zealand. Big crowd there in New Zealand to watch this game of the Chiefs. Damien McKenzie just so good again. One of the best players in the competition at the moment, the form players, and that now allows the Brumbies to go number 2 in Super Rugby Pacific table.
And Alana Ferguson, tomorrow afternoon at Concord Oval in Sydney, the top 2 teams in Super W, the Tars and the Reds, and this could well be a preview of the final in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, this is a huge game at Concord, 3 o'clock, free entry, so everyone can turn up for this one. It'll be an absolute blockbuster. These 2 sides have definitely been at the top of the competition, deserve to be where they are on the ladder, but playing some really exciting rugby, and I'm really interested to see how they go up against one another, because they both sides have plenty of talent but are playing some really clever footy.
Both sides undefeated, 3 wins each, and of course the final will be on May the 6th in Townsville, so maybe those 2 teams might be there.
Yeah, exactly right. Looking forward to that one tomorrow on Stan Sport. There is plenty happening, and the only place to see it all is right here on Stan Sport. Halftime here in Sydney. It's the final game in action on week 8 of Super Rugby Pacific, and it is the Waratahs leading the Western Force 22 points to 6. We're going to wrap it all up that first half, but there's still a big 40 minutes to come here at Allianz Stadium. Welcome back to Viewers on 9, and thanks for staying with us on Stan Sport, where we've just been reliving some of the action from across the weekend. The Reds and the Brumbies with wins yesterday, the Chiefs today over the Hurricanes in Wellington. Some outstanding action in week 8, and it is continuing here at Allianz Stadium tonight. Alana Ferguson, there was a lot to like about the Waratahs in that first half. except perhaps maybe they're finishing on a couple of occasions?
Yeah, a couple of occasions they couldn't execute properly, but the fact that they're creating and some of the footy that the Waratahs have produced has been brilliant. When they're getting that little bit of extra depth and they're taking the line on, their back line's chiming in at the perfect time, but all set up so well by their forwards. They're running and playing really direct.
All right, a couple of key moments for the Isuzu D-Max, and well, after a false start, a couple of false starts, finally Izzy Parisi hit the scoreboard, Timmy.
Oh, I think just the way that Izzy Parisi is obviously an outside centre, so he's a long way away from the game, but he gets himself involved in the match. He's had a pretty quiet Super Rugby Pacific in the first few rounds, and the way that he's able to connect with his scrum half and make sure the scrum half knows exactly where he is. And also the second try, when you watch him drift on this pass, and the pass has to have some power in it, so the way that he can drift on the pass, just watch this here as he drifts out on it, the pass, but he knows it's still 2-on-2, unleashes his wing. It's a very smart play.
Yeah, he's had a really good first 40. Of course, to have that territory, that was off the back of Faketti's 50-22, and just playing off the back of it, you're right, the movement and the lines that these Waratahs boys are playing, they're connecting so brilliantly in the back five. Mark Nwanganitawasi finished that one off. You spoke about it before. He did miss an opportunity from a great try-saving tackle, but then Gordon to get this try just before half-time. I thought that there were opportunities and probably more points that the Waratahs could have taken, but it was so crucial and just puts them in really good stead, Timmy, at half-time.
Well, we spoke in the Stan Sport pre-game show to Darren Coleman about the reaction from Jake Gordon after not being in Eddie Jones's World Cup squad. Well, the first squad of the year, it's not the World Cup squad, but his reaction as a captain and leader is really important, not just on the field, but also off the field. And we're seeing it on the field. He's been really good in the first 40.
Yeah, one of the standouts for the Tars in that first half here at Allianz Stadium. Let's go to Morgan Turinui with an interested, but I'd say reluctant spectator.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you're right there, Nick. I'd say Angus Bell hates being a spectator. Belly, what'd you make first off of that first half performance from your team?
No, mate, it was awesome. I think really took to them in the set piece, and obviously Izzy and Marky are doing their things on the edges, so as long as we give the ball to those boys and Jakey controls it from the back, I reckon we'll be in good stead for the second half. And
Sean Maloney said in commentary that you got the moon boot on, but it's coming off perhaps tomorrow. How's it going, and perhaps what's the timeline for your return?
No, it's going really well. I'm off next week, so boots off tomorrow when I head up to camp, and straight into it, and you know, just controlling the controllables, and hopefully be back before the World Cup.
And we're looking at a little bit of the round one stuff, which is a bit bittersweet for you, of course, but you started like a train in that first few moments of round one. How hard was that to come back from that injury and then to pretty much do it again?
Yeah, no, it's definitely hard, but I guess there's a lesson in everything. There's always a chance to get better, and controlling what you can control is definitely something I try and do. So just trying to get back on the field and give myself the best chance to get back.
And you've got a little bit more time on your hand. This week is Rugby for Good round for the Waratahs, supporting lots of the charity partners. One of them you know a lot about, Waterability, which the cap you're wearing.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. Something that I hold very close to my heart, and I love every moment of it. And I guess, as you can see tonight, with all the support workers and participants out here, they're having a lot of fun, and it brings a lot of smiles to a lot of faces.
And you mentioned the back line. Izzy Parisi, we all thought was outstanding. Is it great to see him with lots of ball in his hand? Is that part of the strategy this week, get Izzy more ball?
Yeah, Izzy's a very simple player, but oh God, he's devastating. He's probably one of the most devastating ball carriers I've seen in the competition, and you know, when we give him the ball with space and he can wind up with Marky on his edge, he goes really well. So keen to see it in the second half.
Okay, great to see the Waratahs supporting Rugby for Good and their charities, and also Izzy Parisi, Nick, with lots of ball in his hand.
Yeah, there's been a couple of standouts, hasn't there, Morgs? And he is certainly one of them, Izzy Parisi, in that first half. Angus Bell, Timmy, he's a player I imagine Eddie Jones just desperately wants to get fit. He's such an important player.
Important player on the field, also off the field. He's a future captain of the Wallabies, and you look at him, you also look at Taniela Tupou. Those two players really important to come back from injury for the Rugby World Cup.
Okay, we've been talking about a couple of quality performances in that first half. Mark Nwanganitawasi, we saw his try, almost scored another. You spoke before the game, Alana, about this really dangerous back three from the Tars.
Yeah, very dangerous. I think his combination with Parisi too, it's really flourishing out there at the moment. They're combining really well. There's a bit of variety in their game, but just the timing in which they're supporting one another. And the Wanganitawasi, his pace off the back of Parisi, second to none. I thought Mataeli did a really good job to save a try, because realistically, Marky Mark could have gone over for 2 tries there. But yeah, very impressive. Their ball movement and their timing and ability to find that space, particularly on the edges, is working really well for the Tars.
I just think after the Brumbies game, they're more connected, they're more confident in that back three, and Izzy Parisi and the centre pairing with himself and also Feketi. But let's not forget about the Western Force. Defensively, I thought they were really strong in that first half, and really impressed with Tom Horton, the way he's been playing, of course, against his old club. And they're still in this match, the Western Force. That try right on half-time by Jake Gordon, that was a killer.
I guess if you're Simon Cron and you're in the rooms, one of the bonuses is they haven't really fired a shot yet, have they?
Hadn't that much ball or territory.
Yeah, exactly.
They had a little bit of ball down that end of the field, but they haven't had a chance. Hamish Stewart's trying to get into first receiver. They're trying to play a few balls out the back, but a couple of poor kicks has really cost them.
Some awesome rugby happening across the weekend here on Stan Sport. This week is also huge in the UEFA Champions League. Second leg, quarterfinals.
They're in the quarterfinals again. It's all out with its turn. Raheem Sterling for Chelsea. He scores. Pure class. No way. No way. Brilliant shot. Can you believe it? Oh, that's an absolute ripper.
Well, one of the things we see when the seasons are on the line, the Waratahs and Western Force really going hard at each other tonight, looking to get ascendancy in that thing we like to call physicality, and that means getting in the face of someone, getting a hold of them, grabbing their jersey, letting them know that you're serious about this game. For the Western Force tonight to climb out of the bit of the hole that they're in at the moment, they're going to need to really remind the Waratahs that they're here to play, and they're here to play physical rugby. And that means sometimes doing some things off the ball, letting them know that they're not going to be pushed around like you're Swinton there, full of words and hands. So too Western Force, a sign of unity. Sometimes get up nice and close, let him smell what you had for breakfast, smell what you are going to do on the field. Sometimes this has a telling effect on the psyche of a team, and we know that the Western Force are in trouble on the scoreboard. The way that you climb out is you get behind your teammates sometimes and you do a bit of old school roughing up, and that's what they'll be talking about in the sheds there. Simon Cron will definitely be saying, listen, we can match it with this Waratahs team. We've heard about all this talk of physicality and size. They are not better than us. Let's go out in the second half and put some possession together. And Nick, that is what he's going to be telling in this second 40 minutes.
Thank you, Justin. Yes, all of that from a bloke who used to love a bit of niggle himself, Justin Harrison. Let's dive into the Waratahs dressing room. Chris Whittaker, you got a smile on your face. You heard talking about. Hey, what's the chat in there? We're wondering if maybe you're feeling like you should be a bit further in front, but the Jake Gordon try made the scoreboard look pretty good at halftime.
Yeah, it did. I think we were lucky in that last try, but we'll take it. I think we'll be really careful this half, not let them back in the game. Happy with the way we're carrying the ball. Some of our contact stuff's been really good, so discipline is crucial this half. Just can't let them back into it.
Hey, Rich, it's a pretty good response from your captain, Jakey Gordon, isn't it, after not making Eddie Jones' squad a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, it is. I mean, we know what a quality player he is. Week in, week out, he does special plays like that. So, we're very happy he's on our side.
Wits, the Force haven't had much territory or much ball. He's done a brilliant job to keep it off them. What's the plan to keep that up?
Yeah, just stick at it. I thought our plan in the first half worked quite well. Obviously, the yellow card helped us. They were down to 14 for 10 minutes in that half. But, as I said before, just keep doing what we're doing. That contact area is big for us. So just keep that up.
Chris Whittaker, thank you as always.
Cheers, guys.
All right, Chris Whittaker joining us from inside.
It was smiling at the start, because there was no way Witch would ever get close to a push and shove on the field. No chance. He'd be running the other way.
Just on that, and on that physicality, it strikes me as it's a really fine line, because they're trying to push it, right? And they're going hard at the breakdown, the Western Force, but they're also being hammered in terms of the penalty count.
Well, I think also it's discipline from the Waratahs. When you look at Lockie Swinton, he's got to try and control his game. I just like the way the Western Force came back at him. It's great, and the Force is still in this game, and Simon Cron knows that got to be first to score.
Alana, the Force, they're going to get back in this?
Well, they need some footy. They need to be able to play up the right end of the field, and the Tars have done a really good job at stopping that from happening. So I think that's the biggest thing. We need to see that. So they need to work themselves into the game and try and do that, because at the moment the Tars are dominating all areas.
Both teams, they are desperate to get their seasons moving right here as we head into the second half of the season. Here is Sean Maloney.
What you see is greatness. It makes sense, it's what I came with. Are you speaking my language? I ain't taking prisoners.
Yeah, thanking you, Nick. Thanking you, team. It was an entertaining first half in the end. Those tries going to Nawangani Tuwase, Jake Gordon, and Izzy Parisi got things started for the home side. It is very nearly must-win time for New South Wales in terms of the 2023 season. So too for the Western Force. If they are to push into the top 8 and make a run towards the back end of the year, they need to come out on the right side of the ledger at the end of the next 40 minutes of action. Jake Gordon was huge in that first half for the Waratahs. He knows what's at stake tonight. Angus Gardner about to call time on once more in his 100th Super Rugby game. Jake Shawn, who gets us restarted in Sydney. Heads down towards Dylan Peach. Dylan Peach again threatening that defensive line with the carry from the restart. Gordon.
Okay, hold in front.
Going back for Donaldson. He'll send it right up the zipper, down towards Tuiutia. Jorgensen. Let Strawn bring it down. It's a good take from Strawn. Callan. In comes Maraeli. Parisi throws a shoulder at his ribs. Finds Leilawasa. Giving it away for Williams. On the skirt of the defence now. Finds Leilawasa. Adrano.
Strips, play on.
Wailanu with good shape over the ball. He latches on and he wins the penalty.
Leave it. Oh, you described it perfectly, Sean. Good shape over the ball. He's got this low centre of gravity. He can be in a super strong position over the ball, and once there, he's nigh immovable.
It's a human anvil when he gets in that sort of position this quietly.
Force is firing a few shots, but there he shows that picture so often the referees are aware that he is actually supporting his body weight there. It doesn't look like it. It could easily be penalised the other way. Because he shows that a lot, he gets benefit of the doubt. Force